time when I had a speaking engagement. And it was, and I think I've told Deanna and Jovonne this. I don't know if the you listeners know this, but it was, my name is Tracy McNeil. And so on paper, Tracy is unisex and McNeil tends to be associated with Irish. So when I went to go check in at the table, the lady who was had the badges and everything, she assumed I was there. Well, let me just tell the truth. When I first walked up the table and she said, "Your event is upstairs," and she didn't even know me. And I said, "Pardon?" She said, "Your event is upstairs. The hair show is upstairs." I said, "I'm not here for the hair show." And I said, "I'm here for this event." She had no idea I was keynote. And so she said, "Well, what's your name?" And I pointed, I saw my badge because they had extra, they put the ribbons on the bottom to give you access to whatever. And I just pointed at it. She said, "No, that's for our keynote speaker." I said, "Oh, that's me." And the look on her face, I was with one of my white fellow coaches, and he kind of kept the moment from being awkward for her because I didn't give a flying flip. He said, "Tracy, I think she expects you to be a white Irish man." Oh. And I was like, okay. But all that to say, when I did get on the stage to speak, the audience was mostly white. And there were 3 sisters, Black women in the audience.
Welcome to Black Women's World Podcast, the BWWP, where we get VIP access into the lives of Black women, or as we like to call us here, our sister Nistas. We get to hear from some of our favorite sister Nistas as they share their worlds with us and create connections, exchange realities, ideas, and baby, we get to recognize and celebrate how powerful we really are. Our sisterhood here is real, filled with peace, wisdom, hope, love, light, and laughter. You know, the kind you can feel, the kind of encouragement that confirms we can do anything because we have, and the kind of inspiration that proves we can be even greater. This is our world, where if you ain't a Black woman, you may want to be one, or definitely get to know one. It's a Black women's world, and we welcome our sister Nista lovers too. Welcome to our queendom. I'm your self-discovery companion, your professional peacemaker, and I'm your host, TracyMac. Come on in and relax and sit with me for just a little while. Peace.
Well, hello, everybody. I am TracyMac, your self-discovery companion, your professional peacemaker, and host of Black Women's World Podcast, the BWWP. And I am still, I'm still so excited from yesterday. I'm still feeling my Kamala. I'm still feeling my pearls. I had to take them chucks off, but I'm still feeling it. So I don't know when you're going to hear this, but today is the day after. It is January 21st when we are recording this episode of the BWWP, and I have my favorite resident co-host with me, Sister Nistas.
Hey,
Deanna Hamilton and Jovonne Cookie Jones. How y'all doing? Hey. Talk to the people.
Hey people, I am so excited and so elated, and at the same time exhausted. I guess I just partied and just was so excited yesterday that it is still like I'm still coming off of the high of yesterday. How about that part?
I feel you on that. How you doing, Jovonne Cookie Jones?
I'm good. You know, I'm laid back, chilling in the cut. You know,
As usual. I will say, Dana, I'm with both of y'all again. I'm laid back because I kind of have to, because I'm exhausted. Really tired. Been on a high. Y'all, we had one thing. We had still on a high from that great photo shoot we had on Sunday.
Yes, that was
telling y'all.
It was a lot of fun.
It was, and it was just synergy, and to see, I've been put on social media to see 5 Black women-owned businesses get
Mm-hmm.
together. And I'm sure it happens maybe, with other people, but just the synergy, everybody, nobody felt like a stranger to me. I mean, I knew everybody, but it's just important to, well, let me say this. I knew Jovonne ever since, forever, because she's my cousin, and known Dina for quite some time. But it was Dina who introduced me to Tanisha Walker and Nakia Lawrence. Dina, you remember that? How did you meet them?
Um, well, Tanisha, I don't even remember how she started, but she's been doing my photo shoots for years now. And honestly, I don't even know. It may have been my sister who introduced us. But really, after I started getting all of my photos done with Tanisha, I just never really looked for anyone else. And it's awesome. She used to do my shows. She shot my shows as well. But the one thing I love about her on the photo shoot front is that she's an excellent makeup artist too. So I got a twofer. So on the show, she would capture the photos, but I also had another makeup artist to do my makeup for the shows. But just on a still shoot, it was almost like a no-brainer. And Nakia used to she was styling me maybe about 5-6 years ago. I started using her for just launches and whenever I had like workshops and that type of thing. So if you've seen me and it looked like something I totally would not wear, is because Nakia was the one in my closet trying to pull and throw things down. It was like the board in real life, that fashion board in real life. But yeah, I thought they were awesome. And when anybody's in need of those services, I usually kind of throw those referrals to them.
Yeah, and I thank you. I thank you because I was in need at the time. We had talked about I was doing a photo. I needed some professional photographs done. And Jovonne would normally do my makeup, but with her living with the distance between us, and you said, I know Tanisha, da da da. And then you told me about Nakia, and they met when I did mine. They both had worked with Dina, but they hadn't met one another until I did my photo shoot. And they have been hitting it off ever since. And it's just like that. If it hadn't been for Dina introducing me to them, and then me introducing them to one another, and they've worked several times before, and then they worked together with us. And then Jovonne drove all the way from Virginia, got up at 4:00 in the morning. Thank you, Jovonne.
You know what time it is.
Tell us about your experience with the photo shoot too.
Well, actually, I was supposed to be there the day before, but things at the salon had me run over, so would have been coming in so late. So I was like, forget it, I'll just leave early. Well, when I left really early in the morning, and I got there just in time to meet up with Dina to get her makeup done. So we were excited before we even met up with you. We had a little church, then we had
internet church, y'all, church on the net.
A little bit of church while we would get makeup done and stuff like that. But we had, it was kind of rushed, but we still had a good time. Energy was just great. Then we met up with you all. And I'm telling you, from the time I entered the building, I was just like, oh my goodness, I'm in heaven. Everything was just so nice, professional. The lighting, the pictures, the two ladies were just phenomenal. I'm telling you, I'm like, look, I need some powder. Look, show me where the powder is.
The makeup artist needs some powder.
I'm telling you, I was just like, oh my goodness. Everything was just so perfect for what we were trying to do. Well, for what we did. Not even tried what was accomplished. And I can't wait for the people to see.
Yes.
It was just beautiful.
And Jovonne, I love that you said that just now, as far as you said, you walked in and everything was great and you needed some powder, and you're a makeup artist. And that kind of goes back to something we were talking about before, about the things we have to do specifically to Black women, because we all know that experience firsthand. But the boxes we have to check. You're a makeup artist. You normally put everybody else's makeup on. You normally travel with kits. We've been together and traveled, and your makeup kits weighed more than our luggage put together. You remember that time?
Right.
And, And so here you come into a studio with another makeup artist. I love the fact, number one, you weren't afraid to say you need it in front of a makeup artist you had never met. And then going back to the busyness of, you had to get up earlier than we did. You had to take a drive before. And sometimes we don't have all the boxes checked, even when in our fields of expertise. And I just want to, I know that's your personality. You show up anytime and you just say, that's just the way it is. That's what I needed. But it takes, how do you think you were able to get to that point, to walk into a makeup artist studio who you could have seen as competition, because you did Dina's makeup and Tanisha did mine, and just be vulnerable like that?
I really don't know, Tracy. I've never had an issue with being competitive with makeup, or cosmetology. It's never been a thing for me. Anybody that knows me know my competitiveness comes in music. Don't challenge me there. There's no challenge there. So makeup and everything, it's always room for growth. It's cosmetologist, I'm always learning from somebody else. And call it cocky, whatever you want to. I know my brother understands me totally. But when it comes to just knowing I'm not going to always have it all. I'm not going to always know it all. When I walked in and I saw you and your daughter, I said, oh my God, I need some powder. It was so beautiful. I knew whatever she used, I did not bring with me. It was just so flawless and pretty and whatever else. And when she turned to me, she said, you don't need anything. I'm like, girl, no, I want what you got. It was just, and I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem giving compliments, giving, credit where credit is due. I've just never been that type of person. So it was just everything, and I just wanted to not, being that we were doing a group photo shoot, I did not want to not be ready, and we always saying stand up, staying ready. I wasn't ready. Well, she said I was, so we would roll with it. So
you was ready.
Girl, all that we had gone through just to get to where we were going, I just felt like, wait a minute, I did everything except for my own makeup, so.
Jovonne came to the door flawless. I'm not even going to allow her to say that. She came to the door flawless and had bags. I thought she was changing clothes, but it was all makeup. It was all makeup and hair accessories and all this other kind of stuff. She says, where would you like for me to set up? I said, it depends on what you need to do. Do you need to go upstairs to the guest bathroom? Oh, no, this is just our makeup. Oh, okay, well, we can do it down here in the kitchen. I thought she had to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, I mean, it was just, and I thank you all for accepting the invitation to even do the photo shoot, because it was going to be my family, Owen and Jada. We used to take family photos every 2 to 3 years. So it was time for that. And I was like, I might as well go ahead and feed two birds with one hand. People say kill two birds with one stone, but I'm like, have mercy on the birds. Let me feed two birds with one hand and go on do this all at the same time. So we'll be sharing the pictures later on. And then that was able to do, because Jovonne and Dina were able to get some shots off for some things they're going to be doing. But I guess the thing of it is just the freedom not to compete. And we witnessed that yesterday. Some very, very viral photos have gone, even with my always forever First Lady Michelle Obama and our new Madam Vice President Kamala Harris. Just the way that you could just tell the support was there. And did y'all feel that?
Yes, and I saw everything on a replay, because yesterday I was doing real estate all morning long, so I was like frantic because I'm missing the inauguration.
I know. Dina texted, she said, I'm gonna miss it. I was like, record.
But as soon as I got in the car, I pulled that app up, and I started hearing the middle of his inauguration speech. That's where I picked up until I could go back and get, the beginning. But yes, it was something. All I could think about was oh my God, the inauguration is going on. And I'm here with these two builders, who were male and of another persuasion. I didn't know where they were with the thing. I'm just sitting here thinking, I got my chucks and my pearls on. They don't even know what that means. I'm just trying to, represent. I want to see Madam Vice President.
Yeah. And it made me think when you say, how people can have a negative, where were you when? Like, where were you on 9/11? I think this is a new positive that we can say, where were you when? So Dina was out working, doing her real estate. Jovonne, where were you when Madam Vice President Kamala Harris was sworn in?
I believe I was probably sitting at my desk doing my hair, trying to figure something out, and I was looking back and forth at the television, and I was just like, just remembering Michelle, even though Michelle was on another level, as first lady, I was just remembering when she first came in, and I'm looking at, oh my goodness, and scrolling Facebook too as well, seeing different comments and things. That's what really got me going. I'm like, they're talking about this. They're talking about, let me see what's going on. She's got on this, she looks like this. Let me see. So I was really glued to the more visual versus just that moment in time that we all cherish and appreciate. But I was sitting there doing something in my hair, and I turned and looked, and I said, oh my God, it's one of us. Really, it's one of us. So.
Yeah, it was like I couldn't believe it was happening because I was working, matter of fact, doing a Zoom on the difference between coaching, consulting, and counseling, the C's, because there is a difference. But I was working, but I was able to mute long enough and take a lunch break long enough and start sharing my screen so people couldn't see my camera. Because I just had to witness that moment in time. So I was at home. Our daughter Jada was here, and we had our pearls and chucks on. Like I said, take them chucks off because they are not comfortable. They're cute, but they're not comfortable. But but Jovonne, you just said something that I would like you to go back to, as far as what Michelle Obama had on and what Kamala had on, because a lot of times I think some people, and this is no judgment, it's just the way that our behavioral works. Sometimes what a woman, especially a Black woman, wears and has on can overshadow what she does. And you mentioned Michelle, and something you said, I gotta give you credit. Michelle, should I say former First Lady Michelle Obama, how she showed up yesterday was not how she showed up 8 years ago. You said you brought that to my attention. Talk about that for a minute, as far as how Black women, how our appearance overshadows the significance of some of the things we do.
Well, I was reading someone's post from yesterday, and they had a lot of good points about things that they would change as a stylist, and a makeup artist, about things that they would change or things that should have been in place before, she was represented. And I don't think it was meant to be negative, but some people can read that to be negative. Why are you looking at the negative points with this person, But I read it as, this is a stylist, this is a makeup artist. She has some really great points. But why is it that, we have to dog out our sister versus looking at what she's doing, what she's accomplished? If something happens to Biden, she will be our president of the United States. But you're focused on a jacket that didn't quite fit well. You focused on the hair that the curls failed. You focused on the eyebrows that weren't completely arched the way you would have done them. And this wasn't just one person, several comments I've read on different pages and so forth. And I'm like, that's not the importance. Again, Michelle Obama came in totally different in her green suit, and, she did not have everything she needed. But as she grew in that position, as she grew as Mrs. Michelle Obama, it was tweaked, and now she represented yesterday to the fullest.
Because
like queen.
I think sometimes in that growth, sometimes we will, and it happens in the sports arena. with sports commentators, especially I can't think of her name right now. The black girl, the black woman who's a sports commentator. People dogged her out for years because of her hair, and they weren't listening. This chick knows stats and can pull an interview like no other. Simone Biles was dogged out because of her hair. So these things that sometimes, but I think one thing that Michelle Obama and even any black woman who's in the limelight, even Stacey Abrams, when they admit they did not know fashion or they did not know something that would make them more appealing. And it's a shame we as black women got to jump through hoops to be more appealing before people want to hear what we have to say. But they had to admit to a stylist, a hairstylist or a makeup artist or a fashion stylist that they didn't know. And I think that's one point we can make in this particular episode, that admit when you don't know, and that's when help can arrive. Deanna?
Yeah, that's when I, reached out to Nakia. I had never really had any, I don't think I have a great fashion sense, but I've always liked to look nice. Always like to, step out and represent, the way that I was taught to do. But I didn't know, coming out of corporate America, there's a different way that you show up versus, going on stage and teaching and training. Those are two different ways that you show up. And
Absolutely.
I have been in corporate for years. I knew how to show up that way. But I didn't know how to show up when it came to a television show. You ain't gonna dress the same. It's not the same type of attire because people, they can't get, if they can't get past your outer appearance, they can't hear anything that you have to say. And I knew that. So yeah, you do need help. So yes, I did have people go and shop for and with me during that time. I knew that existed, but that's just where I was. That's where I was. So I knew that I needed help, and I just needed to find some help to get me to that place. Even if we went to a comedy show tonight, I would still need someone to help me so that I didn't look like I was going out. So I wanted to, when you want to step out with your husband and you want to look like you are, still dating, that's a different way that you show up. You don't show up in a pantsuit. So I even now, if there's a special, something like that, I have to find a way to be, I'm still conservative, but I still want to, throw a little sexy on, too, because it's for him. And I want to show up the way that he, to represent him, to make him look good. You know what I mean?
See, Dana putting a whole lot of thought into it. And maybe some of our other sister nieces and sister niece lovers do too, because sometimes it depends on my mood. Sometimes, I may put some thought into it. You know how you have those times where you can, but you just don't want to. And I fall into that category a lot. I will tell you, there was a time when I had a speaking engagement, and and I think I've told Dina and Jovonne this. I don't know if you listeners know this, but my name is Tracy McNeil. And so on paper, Tracy is unisex, and McNeil tends to be associated with Irish. So when I went to go check in at the table, the lady who was had the badges and everything, she assumed I was there. Well, let me just tell the truth. When I first walked up to the table, and she said, "Your event is upstairs," and she didn't even know me. And I said, "Pardon?" She said, "Your event is upstairs. The hair show is upstairs." I said, "I'm not here for the hair show." And I said, "I'm here for this event." She had no idea I was keynote. And so she said, "Well, what's your name?" And I pointed, I saw my badge because I had extra, they put the ribbons on the bottom to give you access to whatever. And I just pointed at it. She said, no, that's for our keynote speaker. I said,
Oh.
that's me. And the look on her face, I was with one of my white fellow coaches, and he kind of kept the moment from being awkward for her because I didn't give a flying flip. He said, Tracy, I think she expects you to be a white Irish man.
Oh.
And I was like, okay. But all that to say, when I did get on the stage to speak, the audience was mostly white. And there were 3 sisters, Black women in the audience. And I dressed for the occasion. I had on corporate clothes, but I had on standout shoes. I had to make it pop. But my feet hurt the entire time I was speaking. And at the end, all 3 of these sisters came up to me. And I was getting ready to be escorted to the book table because I was selling books at the time and autographing books. But before I could get to the book table, they came to the bottom of the stage and came up to me and said, girl, them some bad shoes. And I said, thank you so much. And I said, did you all get a lot of them? Girl, them shoes were so bad. And it hurt me. And I know they didn't mean anything, but it hurt me that I spoke for 42 minutes. And we had exercise and everything in between. So it was some engagement in there. And they did not hear me because of my shoes. So I made it a point, and that was the only time it happened. That's just the most significant. So I made it a point from then on, I would not allow my attire to distract from my message. So I began to downplay my clothing. And so when it came to pictures, I had so much black, so much navy blue, that when it came time to do pictures, Deanna and Jovonne, I needed a stylist for that different look. And but still now, and it's hard for me to get out of that black and blue, not as so much now with training online, but with mental health first aid training and different trainings I do, I still show up in business attire because of my audience. So when it comes time to be going out somewhere, I'm like, man, we're gonna go out or what? I ain't got time to be wardrobe. Black goes with everything.
Uh-huh.
Jovonne, what's your take? Since Deanna got to get all frou-frou.
Girl, I'm the opposite of Deanna. I joke on myself all the time because I wear the same types of clothing. I'm telling you, one thing may need to be changed. I can wear to church, I can wear to work, I can wear to PTA, I can wear to the game. One item may need to be changed, is shoes. I have a uniform and I don't care. I have several of the same items. I have black this, black that, a jacket, a sweater, a vest. What I tell you when I came to your house? I forgot my vest. Deanna said, boom. I'm so simple. I may dress this up, but my attire is anybody can look at any photo that I have. I guarantee I can tell you what I have on. And you can guess what I have on because I wear the same things. I don't care. I'm like, I need to make sure I smell amazing.
Yes, that's me too.
Oh, yeah. Look, I make sure, but I'm going to smell good. Oh,
yeah. But I could care less. I'm going to change the jacket. I'm going to change the shoes to make sure I'm appropriate for church. But I'm not going to wear a dress. Tracy, when the last time you seen me in a dress?
I don't recall. I think you were a little girl.
With sandals and
Ambassadors 1996.
So I'm just not that person. Now I like nice things. I do like nice things. I like a few labels and stuff like that, but I'm so simple. I can make it however. I'm not going to spend a lot of time there. But when it comes to photo shoots and promotions and doing marketing things, I may incorporate a stylist to do something a little different. Because I'm going to have on black. I'm going to have on one piece of something simple, So I do understand Deanna's end of it. She just
she had another. But see, you know what?
But I like it. I like it.
Yeah, I love it, and I love to see it. It's like even I said about the photo shoot. I felt it make you feel different. When full makeup, I kept it on for as long as I could until that eyelash started, coming off.
Oh
But
God.
the other reason why I think blacks work for me because of travel. I used to travel and have to fly a lot, and I didn't feel like waiting on luggage. So I did a carry-on bag, and I could switch up with different blacks. I could have 2 or 3 pair of black slacks, a couple black blazers, and maybe a white blouse or something to pop. And then the other thing was I never wanted people to be able, and still don't, know what I'm wearing because you can't tell if it's new or not. And and black just Sister Nisa shirt. Y'all can order these piece at blackwomansworld.com. But anyway, shameless plug. But it was just simple. It was simple to pack and travel. It's simple to put things with it. But every now and then you got to step it up. But one thing I like about each one of us, I accept where I am.
Yeah.
I accept where I am. Michelle Obama had to accept where she was when she was first lady back when Barack won in 2008 the first time. Kamala Harris accepts where she is as Madam VP. There's a confidence and acceptance. And that confidence also allows you to ask for help when you need it. So you got to admit you don't know. Then you got to accept where you are and then ask for the appropriate help. What y'all think? Dana?
Absolutely. I'm not afraid to ask for help because, I mean, if you don't know, you might end up killing yourself. I mean, in some situations, so you better ask for some help. And even when it came, I mean, in everything, like my weight loss, I had to get help with that. You know, I need somebody to teach me. When I went to the gym, I wasn't a gym person, so I didn't know how to use the equipment and all that other kind of stuff. And you can't just look at somebody and tell how to use the equipment. You could hurt yourself using the equipment wrong. So I didn't know, so I had to ask for help. So sometimes you have to hire people, you know, like trainers and coaches and, you know, to get the appropriate help that you need in order to get where you want to be.
Well, what do y'all think? Because I don't think people have problems asking for help in certain areas. It's very easy. People get their hair done. People get their nails did around the world. People, of course, most of us aren't seamstress and can't sew. So every time you shop, you're asking someone to help clothe you. So you don't have problems asking for help buying clothes. Shoes, the same thing. If you're not a mechanic and your car is in need of repair, you get help with that. We get help in so many other areas, but when it comes to certain things, we act like we don't want to ask nobody for help. What's that, Sister Nistas?
It might be embarrassment. There's, you know, the shame, or, you know, people are looking at you thinking you got it together. I mean, in their mind, not.
Okay, so how come we're not embarrassed for car repair? How come we're not embarrassed for hair? How come we're not embarrassed to buy clothes? We can't sew. We go out to eat. Some people can't cook. Some people won't cook. Some people don't like to cook. We're asking for help then.
In what area are people not asking?
A lot. Dana mentioned weight or even something as simple as going to the gym, not knowing how to use the equipment, not asking for that. Some people, you had last week, Jovonne announced your gun safety class. Dana said a few seconds ago that you can kill yourself. You can kill yourself if you don't know how to use a firearm properly. So if somebody's going to go purchase a firearm and doesn't go get help, I mean, for the class, potentially, of course, mental health, but this ain't that show.
You know, another area that people don't like to ask help in, and it's vital, is money. They don't like to ask for help in that area either.
Well, and I will say sometimes help looks like accountability, because Dana and I started the weight loss accountability. We did the workshop Food, Folks, and Funds, and we became one another accountability partners. Money, weight, relationships, because the food was what's eating you and what are you eating. The folks are the people and the relationships you have, and the funds, FUNDS, the money. But it took us being open with one another and vulnerable And I think vulnerability takes maturity. I mean, does that make sense? Or what you think, Jovonne?
Well, definitely. As far as what Deanna was saying, as far as people don't ask for help, because then you'll know, if they say I need help, you'll know where they error. You'll know what their problem is. And they're embarrassed to open that door and say, I have a problem. So if there's someone drowning in finances, which I know you all have discussed several times, someone drowning, you know how hard it is to say I need help. They'd rather hit rock bottom and keep masking and borrowing until they actually say, look, I just don't know. So in that area, people are afraid to admit to being a failure, in their eyes, a failure, or just messing up.
And I think something you just said this then, because if we label ourselves as a failure, if somebody says I am a failure, that's a whole nother connotation versus I fail.
Right.
I think if we don't realize we can get over that and stop labeling ourselves as such and know that it was a moment or it's an experience, but it's not who I am.
Correct.
So when it comes to money or things like that, sometimes the very thing we need help with the most, if you all are saying that people feel like they are embarrassed and they don't get help, what was some of the things, Deanna, when you needed help with something? Because I know you don't mind asking for help, but some of those areas where you struggled with for a long time and didn't ask for help, what kept you from getting it, and then what caused you to get it?
Well, I think an area that I failed over and over and over again in my life was the finances. I thought I'd had it, and then it was just constant. And then when I realized, oh, you know what? There's people out here who this is what they do. Let me see if I can't link up. So I found a situation that was good for us. And I ended up putting in the work that it took to get us where we wanted to be.
Did you feel as embarrassed? Did you feel, okay, was it a particular situation that you said, okay, enough is enough?
I think I had gone to no, it's not, I had gone to a Tony Robbins event in upstate Jersey, right in the line, New York, in the snow. And when I got there, I walked the fire and everything, right? And when I got out of there, but this is what it took for me to get there. I mean, I was robbing Peter to pay Paul, hoping my debit card would go through. Y'all might not know what I'm talking about, but I was there on a prayer. That's what I was there on. And when I left out of there, I said, I will never, ever come back like this again.
So you mean to tell me to get there, to register, you were having a...
because the registration itself was expensive. So I went on a payment plan for that, which I'm good with that. You do what you got to do. So I paid the registration. Then I had to pay to get there. I had to pay to stay. I had to pay to eat. That's a lot of paying for somebody who don't have it like that to pay. But I looked like I had it like that. So I was frustrated, and I felt like I should have had it like that too. And it wasn't until I was sick of myself, and I got sick of myself at that event. And I said, oh, I will never, ever be like this.
So then what did you do? You said, I will never, ever be like this. So you had to admit you didn't know what you were doing.
I actually came home. I shared with my husband what I had learned and what my excitement was, what my frustration level was, and what I needed to do to change. So I got online. I started researching, different things. But I'm going to tell you, as soon as you put it in the universe, the Lord will send somebody. So I said to someone, I said, yeah, I'm so frustrated. I gotta get this money thing right. And my girlfriend, she says, my husband and I, we just finished taking financial peace. And I said, are you kidding me? I just researched them. You've been
Dave
taking,
Ramsey.
yes. So I said, oh, this must be a sign. This must be a sign that this is what we need to do. So yeah, we started taking the classes there again. Now I took the classes. Everything is not for us, you know what I mean? But you have to learn how to take in the information. The information that does not apply, put it back down on the shelf because one day it may apply, and then you can bring it back down when it applies.
Can I make your statement non-politically correct? Because you just said some of the information may not apply for us. It may not apply for Black folks.
Well, you know what?
Or people. Go ahead.
It's different when you're being taught by someone who's came up in a situation that's different from yours. And for my circle, most of us are like first generation college graduates. We didn't come from, our backgrounds isn't that we came from a whole, lineage of money. It wasn't that we did not live well, but, we won't go into boarding school either.
True, exactly. Because you know what's amazing about us, and please, my sister Nistas and sister Nista lovers, people of all colors and races and both genders, please know this: Black Women's World Podcast is never anti anyone. So we just have to talk from the experience we know. And I will say this as it pertains to what Dana was just talking about, as far as the experiences of people are different. So we have to handle things different. I told Dana and Jovonne at one point, all the certifications I have, the ones that I have that allow me to teach, I have to add another component because the experiences are different from what was being taught, whether it be coaching or mental health. I have to add another component to that because our experiences are different. But I will say this along with that: Black women can identify with everybody's problems. There's not a problem basically that any, in general, race or gender has that a Black woman cannot identify with, yet everybody cannot identify with a Black woman's problems. Am I overstepping? Does that make sense? Jovonne, you're nodding your head.
No, you keep talking. You getting there.
I mean, for the most part, because I said before on this show, if you help a Black woman, you help everybody. Because of the things we have gone through. I mean, and even when we were enslaved, let's go before that. Let's go when we were queens. Let's go when we were running nations and tribes. And let's go when we were administering medicine. And I mean, we feed people from the breast to the grave. I mean, there's not a problem that exists in the world that a Black woman has not had, or at least the experience or taken care of the person experiencing the problem. You feel me? Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead, Jovonne.
No, I'm in agreement with you. I'm just going over in my mind certain scenarios, that we are always the answer to, but we don't get the credit for.
No. We
don't get the credit for it. But I mean, just look at the TV show Scandal. Who was the queen? Who knew it, fixed it, did it, killed it, brought it back to life? Who did it? That Black woman. And in reality, we are all of that. I have been in my own personal life. I've worked, I've taken care of the sick. I've become a certified wound nurse on my own. I've caring for, elderly parents and stuff like that. But I mean, it's certain things that we don't even question. We just hop in and just do because that's who we are. We are the solution. But we don't get the credit for it. Not that I'm looking for accolades and applause, because I'm not, but we just hop in and do it. If they need, we are there, right there all the time. We have the solution if we can't be there. We have the means of getting you there. We're going to make it happen. And we don't get that credit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Dina?
We'll figure out some stuff now. We'll know how to
We-
figure out some stuff.
And
And
go ahead, Dina.
no, I and it just I guess I get so frustrated with us when we know I know how great you can be, but you won't allow anyone to help. You know, you won't allow anybody to help, and it's really frustrating to be in that situation. And I know we've all gotten burned in our attempts to help.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is really frustrating when you cannot, no one, you won't be allowed to help. I get it all the way around. So in real estate, I know people who really would love, to buy their first home, and they really want, they really want it. But either they don't want to ask, there are a lot of things that have to go into play, or they want to become investors and they just assume that they can do that and own a home. There's a lot of stuff that you really need to know. But then I don't know if it's because they just don't want me to know their business, or if, they just trust somebody else. Yeah, maybe because it is a lot of personal information that you have to be willing to give up in order to get the things that you want. And you do want to trust the person that you're giving it to. But you can either trust someone who loves you and wants the best for you, or you could trust a stranger who could care less. And that's the part that I have to, that I had to learn how to, okay, I'll just let go. And I'm sure you'll find the help that you need. And then they find the help that they need, and then they come back and ask you questions.
I really hope you are enjoying the VIP access you are getting into one of our favorite Sistanistas, Jovonne Cookie Jones, who's also one of our newest resident co-hosts here at the BWWP. But you know what's not new to Jovonne? Cosmetology, makeup artistry, and so much more, because she's been at it for over 30 years as the sole owner of Flutterizm Beauty Experience Salon and Cosmetics, located in Portsmouth, Virginia, USA. To contact Jovonne or to book an appointment, call 757-606-0222. Also, you can reach her at flutterizm@gmail.com. That's flutterizm@gmail.com. And if you don't know what it means to be flutterized, let me tell you, it's when Jovonne takes you from nervous excitement to fearless confidence. I know I'm a witness. I've been flutterized. You've been listening to Black Women's World Podcast.
Well, I know that road. I mean, even in my industry, the world of coaching and consulting, there have been times I started a coach certification program, not because I thought I was all that. I kept seeing Black women and people of color going to coaches, not getting some of the things they needed. Now, we have got some wonderful coaches in all races, shapes, sizes, whatever. But just some of the people I knew, their experience where they would go to these very well, highly celebrated, very visible and popular coaches and spend a lot of money and not get the results, and then want to come to me to help rig up something for them, when I'm sitting here the whole while like, oh, I can deal with you with that, because not only have I experienced it, but I've experienced it through your lenses. I have had to do those challenges, but why do you all think it's so easy for us to admit things to a stranger than to someone we know, Jovonne?
Embarrassment. I was listening to Dina talk about her financial situation, and I'm thinking about myself. I think I recently told you about, I had to put some key players in my life to shift some things in my life. And actually, I was consulting with a new accountant. And as I was speaking with him, I was like, I'm just so embarrassed talking to you right now. He said, this is what I do. I am here to fix your situation. Not that I have a horrible situation, but when approached about franchising my business, being that I work in different states and, I was in Houston, a lady said, what do we need to do to get Flutterizm here? And I'm like, I really don't know. I didn't tell her that, but I said, I'm going to find out and get back with you. So it's just things that, was stinging the whole time because I'm like, oh God, I don't have a clue, but I got to find out and so forth. But I had to go to people that actually do the work. I had to find out what exactly is going to take. And it's a lot of discomfort in that, because now I have to maneuver some things and do something. And I have to show you what's going on in my world, that has been private, but not private because I'm just trying to be top secret, but private because, Black owned business, you don't share what you're doing and how you're doing. And, but when somebody's asking you about franchising, like, you know what, this is something I want to be able to do. I would like a Flutterizm in every state, in every major city, so let me get on the ball now at 42 years old. So that way at 52, I can actually see this thing. I can see multiple states with this and forget the embarrassment of it. Moving forward, doing what you got to do. So
Jovonne, you just followed the three main components I want to provide as even action steps for those listening. You admitted you didn't know, you accepted where you are, and on your journey as a stylist, as an entrepreneur, and then you got the appropriate. In the world of mental health first aid, one of the components is getting the appropriate professional help. I think a lot of times we get burned and don't seek help because those times that we may have, the person wasn't appropriate. You called the wrong person for the wrong job, or you didn't do your homework to see if they were what were their results, with somebody else. Dina, have you ever had that, or Jovonne, either one of y'all ever had where you reached out for help and got help from the wrong person?
Oh, come on, Tracy. Come on.
I know, but they don't know.
Go ahead, Dina.
Yeah, I don't know how many of y'all have reached out asking. I've asked family members how to work out, my finances. I didn't know that they was doing the same thing I was doing. You don't know. You only know. You can only teach somebody really what you do. And I'm thinking that's what got me in this trouble. I can't do that anymore. I can't operate like that. And it's because, we don't come from a line of people who have learned that. I'm speaking for myself. And who can teach it forward. Who can teach it for you forward. Like my parents, I never knew of any situations that they were in because they never shared. All I knew is that I got up, I had stuff, and I did what I needed. I had what I needed to have and did most of the stuff I wanted to do. That's all I knew. How it come about, I knew that my daddy worked multiple jobs and didn't allow my mom to work but one. That was the world that I come from. But how to manage all of that? Do you ever wonder? Your parents, they had homes, they had cars, multiple children, and it just seemed like the lights was on every day. How did they do that? On less
at a time where it was even in the 70s, it was a whole lot going on there. Just come out of Jim Crow and the civil rights movement and still were able to manage. And I think sometimes when, I think one of the lives we did, one of the people watching said some things were grown folks' business. I think sometimes when we're calling it grown folks' business, it's a way to shield ignorance. Um,
I which is in this vein, I have just done everything opposite. Because years ago, once we went through Financial Peace and I found out they had a kids version at, I don't know, I think they were probably 6 and 7. I put them jokers on it too because I needed to know that I was doing the best that I could. Now, if they leave here and they mess it up, it ain't because I didn't teach them. It was not because I did not teach them. But even then, they had to learn how to make and manage money. What are the 3 things that you got to do with this dollar that I just gave to you? What are the 3 things, basic 3 things that you're going to do? You're going to spend some, you're going to save some, and you're going to give some away. That, if I can get them to get those 3 basic things, which is now they're 13 and 14. And they know, okay, they know they can't spend all their money. They know they can't save all the money. And they know that they're going to have to give some away. And it wasn't, I didn't get that same training, which is why I was in such a mess, before. But I don't blame my parents. I mean, you only teach what you know and how to teach. Even with our last live on gun ownership, I know, Jovonne, when you go in the range, you see other people and they have a whole family in there. Their kids and everybody are in there, and it's another day at the range for them. And so that's how they grew up. That's how they're growing up. So while we can't find ammo, this is the reason why we can't find ammo. I was even watching, I know Jovonne don't binge on Netflix, but I have found so many shows on Netflix. So Dallas, I used to watch, no, it was not Dallas. Dynasty. So I started watching Dynasty on the reboot of Dynasty. Right?
So well, Dina.
What?
So Dina.
You watching Dynasty fits so well.
Yes. Watching Dynasty.
Go ahead, girl.
So on Dynasty, Fallon, the character, Fallon, who's this, billionaire, rich white kid. Well, her parents gave her a 22 at 16. That was her gift. At 16, and she still had it. It was downstairs in the vault, with everything else. But she had brought it back out. So that training is like horseback riding, that type of thing, for them. So that's why I say some of the things may not apply to you, whatever it is. You put it on a shelf, bring it back down. One day it'll apply. The gun ownership thing did not apply. That was not my thing. Well, it applies now. So you get it off the shelf and you open the book up and then you do what you need, do what you need to do.
I will say this, because all of us have had experience with people of different income levels and income brackets. And I will say this, especially from my high-end clients, or those people that I associate with who are wealthy when it comes to monetary. One thing I will tell you, they are not afraid to ask for help. They are not afraid to say they don't know, and they are not afraid to ask. That's just a common thread I have found. If they don't know something, they're going to ask about it because they understand how powerful applied knowledge, because knowledge by itself is not powerful, but they understand how powerful applied knowledge is. Have you all found that to be with people, that people who are, and I guess I'm saying this before I even complete the question, success is much sweeter shared. It's like when you have, Jovonne mentioned the potential of being a franchise in her company. You know how much help you need to bring that in? Because once you bring in help, it gets bigger because the help brings in everything, all of their gifts and talents. And then that expands what they know and do. But I just have found that my clients and people I connect with who are seen as wealthy, they don't have a problem asking for help. Is that just my experience, Jovonne? Dina?
I'm come back to me. Come back to me.
Okay. Dina, is that
You know, I don't have a problem asking for help. I don't even know. This isn't anything. This was just an innate thing, I believe, because I'm even thinking back on, childhood, going through school. Not that I had all these big hopes and dreams and aspirations, but when you go to school and you are the minority and you're looking and seeing how these other people are living, and then you get invited to all these people's homes and you're looking around like this. Now, I've shared and not ashamed of my upbringing at all. I grew up in a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, single wide trailer. So me going from that to, oh my God, this is how these people are living. Please tell me how. What do I need to do? What?
right now?
Right now. What do I need to do to live like this? And you just, I was bused in school too, through and by these neighborhoods every day. I wanted to know. You hear me? I wanted to know.
And and even then you had to accept where you were on the journey, that you didn't have it. You weren't going to steal it. You could. And that to me plays so big in how we become vulnerable enough to ask for help. I don't know how to get that. I don't know how to get from this stage to this step. Help me. And I think help me is one of the most valuable 2 words you can say. Because Dina said earlier, once you say, help me, that's a short prayer. Help me. If you want to add Lord to it like I do, or put it at the beginning, Lord, help me, or help me, Lord. It opens up the opportunity for God to show off on your behalf. I'm telling you, because even when I was at 307 pounds, lost 128 total. And I told you I didn't put some pandemic weight on, but even it was because I had left a doctor's appointment. They were talking about knee replacements, plural. They were talking about all the medications I was on, and I was getting ready to have to go pick my daughter up from daycare. And I couldn't, I was prideful. I'll do it. I'll go walking next week. But then a point in time came when, Miss McNeil, you will not live if you don't get this together. And I looked at my then pre-teenage daughter, getting ready to start middle school, and she was gaining weight. And I saw her face filling out, her little body filling out. And I read a statistic on an airplane, sitting with a seatbelt extender on, that said young women who are overweight after puberty stand a 50% chance of being overweight for the rest of their lives. And that was my, Lord, help me. Help me, Lord. Not just for me, but for my child. I don't want my child going to a doctor's office getting these reports. And all of my issues weren't weight related, but a lot of them were. And so that was I need help. Help me. So the first thing, help me, nutritionist, because I was too heavy and knees too bad to exercise at that point. Help me. And so that cry for help does not have to be maybe the way mine was, but I think it's that desperation when God sees you come to, and sometimes it takes coming to the end of ourselves, hitting that rock bottom to say, help me. And I think once we realize that help is on the way as soon as we ask, the next time we don't wait so long. And maybe that's why wealthy people are like, okay, well, help me. And all of them don't speak like that. People are like, okay, Tracy, help me, or let me get help with this, or do you know somebody who can help me with this? But it was that help. Oh God, help me. And I was there with money at one point, just like Dina. My rock bottom was facing bankruptcy, and that was due to medical bills. But do you see how one played into the other? The obesity and the sickness played into the medical bills, and all this, and all issues in every front. Traveling, I had to, even though the client may have paid for my travel, I had to do extra sometimes because I wanted an extra seat because I couldn't handle the middle seat. So I mean, my finances got all tangled up, and all I did, fixing one thing, started fixing so many others. Shoot, Jovonne.
I was gonna sort of go back and sort of tie in. I was trying to figure out how to say this, but you were saying before, have we ever got the wrong person to help us to do what we thought was the right thing? And that played back into my business. In the beginning, I didn't know how to start up. I talked to other salon owners and entrepreneurs like, well, what do you do? How'd you do? I ended up incorporating my cousin. She had just graduated from Howard University School of Business. I'm like, oh, I'm set. She gave me some really good things. And I'm like, okay, so what do I need to do? First year goes by. We look at our books like, oh man, we did really good. I took her word. She gave me some really good pointers. And I'm like, well, I'm going to get somebody else involved just to see. So I hired a white male accountant, not to review what she did, but to just give me another take, which I thought was the right way. He'll know how to handle my business. So in him handling my business, he looked at my books, everything is good. And when I tell you, my girl from Howard, she color-coded Excel sheets, every dime that came through my building, it was accounted for. And he said, you have too much. You're showing too many receipts. You're showing too many of this. You're showing too many of that. For your business, you all don't exceed this amount yearly. So in order to get a refund and not have to pay taxes, this is what you need to do. So my girl is like, I'm not for this, but you can go ahead and listen to him if you want to. To make the long story short, back to franchising, I'm like, oh my goodness, well, my books only reflect this. And I've done what this white male has told me that most Black salons do. And now I'm like, I've hurt myself. So when I go consult with the new accountant, who just happens to be one of us and has business knowledge like I've never seen before, he's like, well, you know what? You messed yourself up, but I can fix this. Again, you go to who can help you. And he's saying, all these years that have gone by, you could have. Now you have to go back and figure out what your business is worth based on somebody else telling you you're not even going to exceed this. So I'm looking at this like, oh my God, not that I should have listened to such and such, but the mentality we have, we know what we need to do. We are placed on this earth to be entrepreneurs or whatever we decide to do, but we still second guess ourselves and still go to that other party and say, they know, they've been here long enough. They know exactly what to do. And now I've cheated myself over the years and starting over in a sense, or have started over. So it's like the embarrassment of that. It's been like, oh, but again, like Deanna said, I'm not afraid to ask for help. I didn't realize how much I had damaged my business by doing the easy route, or going the easy way around. Now I'm just like, okay, it's so much out here for me and my business and my family, my children, their children and their children. I have sort of cut that off, so I'm ready to just roll that stuff on into my life and our lives, So it's like, you just get to a point where you say enough is enough and not being afraid to ask for help, putting everything aside, the embarrassment and everything. Like, okay, you know what? So what? So what? I'm glad I got it here versus at 72,
You have no idea. You just set so many people free. Because in my business, that is, you still what that short term gain really in my business is a nightmare, because I have to, now you got to show, and I know you can pay a mortgage. I know you can pay a mortgage. I ain't talking about you, Jovonne. I'm talking about the clients. I know you can pay a mortgage, but we can't prove. We don't have the proof that you can pay a mortgage, because your books say this, but I know good and well that you can do that.
Correct.
Yeah. Well, people say everybody want to be a baller till it come time to pay the tax man. Everybody want to be a baller, but when it comes time to own up to what ballers do, so I thank both of you for being so transparent, because this is helping Somebody
So
in Sister needs to land. I'm telling you, because our worlds can be so complex that when we don't know, because I mean, it's like I had got to a point in my life, and it's not going to be perfect. I've said time and time again, I will not be the BMI. I just went to the doctor today and they weighed me, and I was like, oh well, I'm still working. I'm a work in
correct.
progress. But I got to a point in my life, and I don't know if it was because my rock bottom hit so many areas, where I got to a point I was like, so what? Help me.
Mm-hmm.
So what? I don't care what people think, because half the people talking and thinking, as we've said time and time again, aren't the ones that can help me anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, where do I just tell me what I need to do? And it's not to be like you, it's to
Mm-hmm.
be my best me. Tell me, what
Mm-hmm.
do I need to do? Where do I need to go? And I will show up early on time and take notes, because admitting what you don't know, it's so much I don't know. It's so much.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had to call these two women and other women in my life, but then you call your girls, but then you got to hire somebody.
Mm-hmm.
You got to hire somebody and to get that, to help, to be accountable for, because your girls don't require you to put skin in the game, and you can take or leave their opinion. And it's something about that dollar that ties the person to responsibility.
You bonded. You
Yes,
bonded.
That's right.
yes, because I will tell you now, I still do free things in my practice, my coaching practice, and free, even free promos. We're running for a couple months on Black Women's World Podcast. But I noticed there's a difference when there are things I've done for free, because people can take or leave it.
Mm-hmm.
But once you put a value on it, then they value it, and
Mm-hmm.
they handle it so much more differently. Do y'all have that experience as well, to some degree?
Yeah, Jovonne, I know you do.
Trying to avoid answering. I just looked out the window like
I saw it. That's why I say,
Nobody's out there. Nobody's outside.
nobody is
Come
out here.
back. Come back here. Come back
Go ahead,
here.
Dean. Go ahead. Go ahead. You know I got to think on this thing so I can get my words correct.
Well, I mean, it's just real, because as we said before, Black women have helped everybody. It's just in
Mm-hmm.
our nature. It's in our being. We've been taken for granted and advantage of and abused and misused too. And I think we're coming into the realization of that, and not allowing that to happen anymore, or at least as much. Lord, help us. Help us, Lord, with that too. But at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, it's just innate. Whenever somebody comes and they have a problem, and wait a minute, now, let me fix this up. I'm not available to everybody all the time. But whenever there's a problem I'm aware of, I obligate myself to help contribute to the solution or have the whole solution. You ain't gonna come in my life with a problem and we cool, whether it be client, friend, family, and we cool, and we not fix that thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's just, we gonna have fun and we're gonna fix the problem. But you got to be able to say, I need help, and be willing to put your skin in the game. And your skin can look like different things: money, time, love, whatever. Go ahead, you got your words together? Yes, sister girl. Sister Nista.
There are people that come into your life that you want to help as a friend or family members, and some you just can't. I'm sorry, you just cannot, even when you have the answers. And I was thinking about a situation of a friend that wanted my services, but she did not want to pay for each service. So she chose to do some services on her own at home. Well, she came in overprocessed hair, color damage, and so forth. So now you've created more of a problem. Now I have to do a color correction, unless you just want to cut it off, for what she had going on. And she felt that I was wrong for charging her for the color correction, for I didn't even bother charging her for the haircut, just to trim her hair up and everything. But she thought I was wrong. She said, well, I did that at home. I said, well, my name is on it at this point. I'm not going to allow this to stay like this. Long story short, I can't help everybody because I refuse to do certain things like that any longer. So somebody, friend, family, whoever, hey, I got this problem. I want you to look at it. They know me automatically. I'm going to, girl, sit down. Let me fix this. No, because they no longer valued who I am as a professional. They wanted to get what they wanted, but working me at the same time. So even goes back to why I have a comb and a couple brushes in my house. You're not going to drop by with your issue and say, oh, girl, look at this. I got a problem. No. Mm-mm. Not that I charge for every single thing, but you're going to value me and what I do and value as a business and a service.
And I
Those
think
drop.
that goes back to asking for help. If you
Yep.
value yourself, you will get the help you need. And
Correct.
even though Jovonne is talking about it from an outer perspective, and it's easier for us to ask for help with our hair, with our glasses. I cannot see without these things. This is not just for fashion, folks. I had to make the best of my problem. I cannot see, and contacts do not give me the correct vision for several reasons. I can't get LASIK. So you take the problem and but I need help seeing. I go to an optometrist. I need help with my knee. I go to an orthopedic person. Deanna needed help with her finances. She went to Dave Ramsey. Jovonne needed help. You get the help you need because you deserve it. You deserve to be the best. I bought these pearls from Deanna. How long ago, Deanna?
Whenever we spoke at what's the thing that goes on down at women's empowerment. Women's empowerment.
I needed help with my neck, but I don't like to wear things around my neck because I don't like to wear things around my neck I can feel. So the whole time I'm sitting here talking to y'all, even though they may look cute or not to anybody, I can feel them and I know they're there. But that day, I needed help from Deanna with a necklace. I had to let her know. So it was like, so what? So for me to look better and feel better, so what? Help me. So what, Nikki, who did help me. So what? If I go buy food from a restaurant, you're helping me, but we deserve help. And I think if we could just flip that mindset and do a paradigm shift to know that the help you need, you deserve it, and it's out there, and go get it. Get it, whatever area. Go ahead, Dana. You got the seatbelt on.
Oh, look, you see me tense up in my chair. Did you see that for real? Yes, I think it's just imperative for us to advance. We have to get out of our own way. Get out of our own way so that we can not just do it for us and our families, but I'm just thinking back. When I was in high school, there was a family that lived in Cary. I went to Cary High School in Cary, North Carolina, and at the time that was the only high school in Cary, and it was a predominantly white high school. And there was a young man. He was Black. His parents lived in Cary, and we got invited to his house. We were on student council together, so we went to his house, and I was amazed. His dad was an architect. His mom was an attorney, and these people became like my family. And because I wanted to know, what do I need to do? I need to know. And as a teenager, I mean, they were my mentors, whether they knew it or not. I ended up going to A&T because of them, because that's what, then that's where that's where I need to be. But what we need to do is find those people and that we look up to, and don't despise them. Ask genuinely for help. And it was recently this family, it was the mother. She my daughter's birthday was this week, and she commented, she says, I'm just having a hard time believing that this old crew from Cary High School are now raising our next generation of leaders. And I'm thinking to myself, I put it on the pen to the paper, you were a catalyst in all of that, because I saw firsthand that this family that looked like me, that's why representation matters, looked like me, lived like this, and I had no idea that this was a world. I didn't even know that this was a world that existed. I come from, I could go through the cornfields. I talk about how. And the funny thing is, that's how they were raised.
Mm-hmm.
So it has to start somewhere. It got to start somewhere. I'm just excited and happy that I was able to catch the train, and I didn't even know that I wasn't even supposed to be on board. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And those internal things, those issues we may have, past traumas, it doesn't have to be anything horrible, but we've all had experiences in our lives that would help, pun intended, if we just talk to somebody. If because it manifests, it shows up in places you will not believe. If you've had some traumas in your life, it'll show up in your money. It'll show up in your relationships. It'll show up in your health care, how you care for yourself. And it will manifest somewhere. So sometimes it could just be getting a mentor, getting someone, a coach, a realtor, a banker, an accountant, whatever areas you may have issues in, getting help. And just like I said, a negative thing affects a lot of areas. Getting help in one area can answer and offer you so many solutions. So, I mean, sometimes you just got to get to a point where it's like, so what? Help me, help me. Jovonne, you said earlier about the franchise opportunity potentially. I know you got some other things going on. If you needed help in another area, and it doesn't have to be right now, another area where you needed help, what would that? I asked Deanna earlier, but I didn't ask you. The help you needed, what took you? You said about the accountant and the thing in another area that you may have needed help in. What did you have to get to the point you had to get to ask for that help, if I'm making sense?
Funny because both areas that I don't have an issue sharing either. Financially, it was financial pain that got me to getting help, and health-wise, I was in pain and realized, God dang it, I got to get some help. I really need some help. And getting help doesn't mean per se a nutritionist or whatever. It just, for me, it was, I need some help to motivate myself to move around, get some of this weight off. Other people, oh girl, you carry your weight well. Really? This knee, this medical issue or whatever that I had over the summer, that's not carrying my weight well. So people can say some things that you just want to shake you, like, oh, you look good in everything you wear. Really? But my health is failing, But all of that to say, it took pain, and discomfort. And that's usually what makes people move or do something different, because you're not going to keep feeling uncomfortable, because at some point you're going to break. You're going to be totally broken. You're no more good. So while you still have a little bit left, go ahead and get it fixed. Get whatever is necessary to fix that pain.
Thank you so much for answering that question so clearly. It can take pain, and no matter where you are, because the thing of it is, admit you don't know, accept where you are, wherever that is, and we, none of us have arrived. I still need help in certain areas. Right. I will still hire a coach in a particular area. I still need mentoring in certain areas of my life. And I get the appropriate help, research, find out who is able to help you in those areas, and get it. You owe it to yourself. You're a hidden treasure without polishing off some of the things, the dross and the stuff in your life that just asking for help. I don't know. So what? Help me.
Help me.
Well, me. So, Deanna, any other words?
No, I'm getting ready to rack them, and I'm gonna get some help here this evening. And that's in all things. Get yourself some help so you can get to moving, because it's past time. Go ahead and just mm-hmm.
Sitting
I
in the
agree.
closet. Jovonne?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, I agree. Get some help. Don't be afraid. Don't be scared. Ask somebody, utilize your resources, utilize somebody else's resources. You know,
That part.
Do what it takes to get where you need to be. No excuses.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with both of my beautiful and wonderful, fabulous, and my favorite two resident sister nieces, Deanna Hamilton and Jovonne Cookie Jones. But I agree. And in closing, get the help you need. If we get help with our hair, we get help with our glasses, we get help with our cars, we get help with when we want to eat, we get help with our clothes, because I can't sew, so I have to buy clothes. So that's somebody helping you. See how practical getting help is for external things. Your insides deserve it even more. Your money mindset, your mindset as far as your mental health in that capacity, your weight, your physical body, you deserve the help. So you know what? So what? Tell somebody, help me. So I'm TracyMac, Black Women's World Podcast, the BWWP. Thanks for listening, my sister niestas and sister niesta lovers. Much love.
You've been listening to Black Women's World Podcast, the BWWP, brought to you in part by TracyMac Solutions for Life Institute, coaching and training services. No doubt you have enjoyed being in our world, and it doesn't have to stop here. Head on over to blackwomensworld.com. This is my personal invitation to you to stay connected with me on social media and more. I'd love to see you there, and I'm so grateful you came to be with me here. Invite someone else to join you in our queendom next time so they can feel the vibe of our tribe of sister niestas and sister niesta lovers too. Remember to be kind, be authentic, be generous, be excellent, be grateful, and while you're at it, go ahead and be extraordinary, because that's just what sister niestas do, on purpose, through mission, with passion and compassion. It's a Black woman's world, baby, and you, my sister niesta, are proof. I'm your self-discovery companion, your professional peacemaker, and your host, TracyMac. Wherever you are in the world, may you love and be loved by somebody. Peace.